Okay, we're putting the 99 4-runner automatic transmission in, and the transfer case and front drive line comes out on the driver's side. We have an 85 from 79 to 85. They come out on the passenger side. So like this one is, we've got to cut it and change it to the other side. Either that or buy one for roughly $800. So we're going to try and build our own for roughly $100. So over here is where we've started cutting on this one that's a 79 model. This one we've cut and we're going to splice together. We've moved, basically took 3 inches off each end in the cut, 5 inches out from the center, and then swapped the long side over to the opposite side to bring the differential over to the driver's side. So and we've going to put in tubing into the inside to reinforce it to go in, and then drilled holes for welds, which is 3/8 of an inch thick wall, which is way thicker than what we needed to go. That's what we went with. And it'll connect the short side, and then this full length piece to splice the other two cuts together. So next we've got to put it together and try to get straight lines on it. We've got scribe marks on where it was cut, and get it tacked and make sure it's straight and weld it, and then eventually we'll put truss system on here, because this is 79. This is the only year that they didn't put trusses on it. After 80 they started putting trusses on the differentials. So next we'll start welding. Okay, we've tacked it. This end we used a strip of metal for spacing from what the chop saw is cut out of here to get their correct length back, and then to hold it straight while tacking it. So now we're going to put the inner steel tube in to support the inside before we do the rest of the welding. And then we'll finish welding in the holes, and then use this piece for spacing to put the other end of the differential together. So more welding, and on this we tried to 1.5 inches from the center inside of the collar out, so we'd have something to slide into. That's what we were shooting for, to have the steel tube in the inside to connect with. So you get your most correct measurements if you measure from the edge of the ring and pinion housing differential out to your cut, which on this side would be 4.5 inches from the edge of here to here, here to here to cut, and then I think it was 3.5 from edge here, which is about as close as you're going to get. Anyway, more welding. Okay, we finished welding it. We welded all the holes that we drilled first to anchor all the tubing inside, so it wouldn't expand and do any warping, and then weld the splices back together. And to line up the tubes, I found best to look in the inside where the seam of the tubing is welded together, and taking a graver and make a very fine line from the inside to the outside, and then match them until they're lined up, and then welded them. And so it should be way stronger than it ever was. And we're going to probably put a bit of a truss through here anyway to support this. Probably put some kind of another strip of metal for an extra guard for rocks in the front. And the tubing was $94 for 3 foot of it. So anything else is grinders and torch and some wire for the wire feed. Okay, we've finished welding it back together. We got the tubes in the inside. We got all the mounts on. This is a stock one here. It's the drop onto the right side out of an 85. And like I said before, we cut this 79 down and put it to the left side of the drop, the front driveline. And these are the thicknesses roughly of the tube stock, and then this is the thickness of the tube, which is 3/8 wall, 2.5 diameter, that we put on the inside of the housing, across the long side and the short side. Welded them in there to get inner strength, and then it's truss support on top. And we're going to go with sway bar, so we had to make new sway bar mounts for the type of driving it we'll be doing, and relocate the leaf spring perches and torsion bar mount. Just stayed on the tube that we cut and swapped to the other side. Didn't have to relocate it. It ended up in the right place. But there it is. Left-hand drop swap for $94. We traded scrap metal for other scrap metal to build it. Use what we had. It was $28 a foot for the tubing. We ended up using actually only a little over 2 feet, so we had 11 inches approximately left over that we didn't need. So we could have saved a little money there, but I always like to have extra for other projects. So this will be going in the 64 stout with the 99 3.4 V6 and automatic transmission, and hopefully that project will get finished in a couple of months. And in case you're wondering, the Diamond O is kind of our signature brand for our little projects. Our own little company.